Hey, it's me again. Well, today is April 23rd, 2020, not 19. But we are talking about COVID-19 and how horrible this thing has been. So my last post, I said it was like April or March 28th, and I think I said there was about 180,000 coronavirus cases, COVID-19, worldwide. And the United States had jumped from, it took 30 days before that to go from 0 to 1,000 deaths related to COVID-19. And then it took about 48 hours to go from 1,000 to 2,000. Well, here we are 3.5 weeks later. And worldwide, we're at 2.6 million coronavirus cases. There are 180,000 deaths that are contributed to by the COVID-19 virus. The United States went from those numbers I mentioned 3.5 weeks ago to 50,000 deaths in the last, almost 50,000 in the last 3.5 weeks. The United States leads the world in number of deaths and coronavirus cases. And the number of cases in the United States, not sure what it was back then. I think it was about 8,000 or 9,000 cases. Now have 840,000 cases in the United States. That is astronomical. It is unbelievable how fast this has spread, how many people have died from it. I mean, 50,000 people, 50,000 Americans have died related to this virus. In Vietnam, which is a war that spanned close to, 7 years, we had about 55,000 casualties from the war. Men and women who did not make it home from that. The coronavirus has killed 50,000 people in the span of about a month and a half total. 50,000. I can't even wrap my head around that. Yet, as I get into my point, all the social distancing that we've been doing for the past 3 weeks, it's working in some places. It's not stopping it entirely. And the goal of it, and why we're doing it, why they closed everything, remember, is so that we flatten this curve. Like the number of cases going up, and then it drops down because everybody's being more cautious and washing their hands and staying away from each other. And that works. However, it's also brought along, some issues, and a lot of it relating to businesses and money and jobs and people's well-being. It's very understandable how this has affected so many people. I mean, everything's closed. Movie theaters, restaurants, bars. Everything is closed. The only thing that's open right now is the hardware store, the grocery store, the doctor's office. I mean, or not the office, but the hospital. When you go, things are different all over. We have to wear masks to be anywhere we're going to encounter public people, like when you go to the store or even the drive-thru at the restaurant. And you're supposed to wear a mask all the time for that. Anytime you're around anybody else, you're supposed to wear a mask. Some people out there are like, I don't want to wear a mask, but I get it. No, I don't. I don't get it. I'm sorry. What I do get is how people are feeling related to this in the money. There are people whose livelihoods and jobs are dependent upon the public coming in, but, in your hair salons and your dentist offices and nail salons and things like that are all shut down. Can't make a living. And maybe you don't have savings, and maybe they don't have some other sources of income. And it's devastating. It is. How long this is going to go on, I don't know. But the movement right now, and it's funny, the president was always like, oh yeah, we'll restart the economy soon. I think we're going to start it soon. I'm in charge. I'll tell everybody what we're going to do. Oh, never mind. I'll let the governors decide what they're going to do. And, we'll just see what happens from that. One of the big cities that have shut down, Las Vegas, they closed all the casinos. I can't believe it, but I would never have imagined that something could cause all the casinos to shut down. So they've been shut down for about a month, or about 3 weeks, and it's a ghost town. What it also is, there's nobody staying in the hotels. There's nobody gambling. There's nobody going to restaurants. They are losing tons of money. Those corporations and just sports books alone. I mean, there's nothing to bet on. There's no sports. There's nothing. You can't bet on anything. You can't gamble on anything. So the mayor yesterday of Vegas, this lady, she wants to reopen everything. She's like, I think we're okay, and I'm just going to say we should reopen real soon, and everything will move forward. And she was asked, what about the casinos? I mean, how do you keep social distancing in the casino? How do you do that? How do you touch, people touching everything, and how do you keep doing that? And she said, that's not my problem. I don't own a casino. That's their problem. But I'm going to open it up so everybody can go do whatever. All this, and that's just one example, but all this is going to do is that curve, if it's going down, it's going to go right back up again. Because while there are people who will go and take advantage of it, there are a lot of people who will stay home, and that's better that way. It's just a mess. There's not a cure. There's not a vaccine. There's nothing. I've seen videos of people on ventilators. I've heard stories about, people dying and having their loved ones on the phone for hours to be with them on the phone because they can't visit them. They can't be around them. In some cases, these folks pass away and there's nobody there for them. They die alone. Horrible. This is something nobody's ever seen in their lifetime. They keep making comparisons to the Spanish flu back in 1918, about 100 years ago. And I don't know. It was interesting to hear notes about that, but that was a different time in medicine and technology and communication, and just totally different. And it's hard to make any comparisons really with that. It's just about learning from past history, is what it really is. Anyways, day to day, we're just doing what we got to do, and the kids have computers, and they're starting distance learning by taking online classes starting next Monday. And so we'll see how that goes. That's another thing, is parents, not only do parents have to do their jobs at home, in a lot of cases people have to work at home, but they also have the job of teaching their kids. It's tough. It will be tough. Power to the teachers who every day are doing this with our kids and have always done it. To all the nurses and doctors who are, and everybody else at the hospitals and medical centers that are taking care of and putting themselves in harm's way constantly. That's just awesome what they're doing. Yeah. And then there's these protesters out here right now who are so angry that they can't get their hair cut or they can't get their nails done, and they want to restart the economy, and they don't care. So their idea of protesting is actually standing in front of hospitals in some places, and they're going to the Capitol buildings and driving around and honking horns and waving flags and saying, we need to get to work, we need to work. I know, you need to work. I know that. But at what cost? Where do you draw the line? I mean, there's it's a hard question. It's an easy question. It's also a hard one. Putting people at risk, but you got to put food on your table. What do you do? So we'll see where we are in a couple weeks from now in the next post. But so far, it's It's not good right now. We're in the midst of something huge. I mean, out of the 2.6 million cases worldwide, 750,000 have recovered. That's great. There are about 800,000 active cases right now. And the numbers show about 10% have died from this. So, depending on the country and depending on what's going on. I mean, United States, in New York alone, it just blew up. Just mushroomed so fast. It's crazy. Yet, while all this is going on, there's moms protesting by taking their kids to playgrounds on purpose to make a stance and saying we should be able to go out and do things. I don't understand what that's about. What are you protesting? What are you doing? All you have to do is stay home. Take your kids for a walk. They don't have to go sit on a playground. Right now, the city of San Diego has reopened the parks so you can walk through them. But all the beaches and the playgrounds are actually closed, the structures. And the beaches are closed. The big hiking trails are closed. But the parks are open, so you can actually walk through a park and get some exercise, be in a park area. But no organized games, no football or baseball, none of those things still. So they're trying to keep everybody safe. So we'll see. And that's it. Take it easy.